So welcome back. Great to see that we've got such a strong group attending this session and this track. And keep in mind that if you are interested in the other track, through the app, you can actually see the presentations, which I think is fantastic, right? So you won't be missing out on anything that's going on in the next room. So we're going to have a fireside chat. Just to set up the stage, it's a wonderful opportunity for me to be in the chat with Cyrenne, who joins us from Montreal, and he is the VP of Digital Marketing at Mitsubishi. And like me, I'm sure you've heard of Mitsubishi, but you may not be a top-of-mind household brand, although they're incredibly well-established around the world. And in my earlier conversation with Martin, I learned so many practical tips on digital marketing, B2B, B2C. I think you will find that it is going to be a really rewarding conversation. And because we've got kind of a smaller group, I would say, up here, great opportunity for you to ask questions as we go. Okay, so hopefully that works. I'm going to get things started. Martin, if you want to just provide a little bit about your background to set the stage.
Yeah, of course. So I've been working in marketing for now a little over 15 years. Started in the agency side as a web analyst, so everything Google Analytics and data and all of that was my jam at that time. And I've started working for Mitsubishi HC Capital for now 6.5 years, where I'm now VP of Digital Marketing. So it's been a good journey.
So mindful that Martin's experience is both agency side and Mitsubishi client side, what I find interesting is how you have become an expert around personalization and becoming more and more targeted for customer engagement.
Yeah, that was one of
the main
thing that I've worked with when I was the agency in digital analytics. Basically, was to look at the data and make sure that our website would be as personalized as it can be to reach our target and audience, right? Maybe I can give you a small example of what we did for one of our drugstore client when I was there. A lot of the subject that came up when we looked at the search volume on our website was around problems that you wouldn't want to go to a pharmacy and ask around, right? Like diarrhea and stuff like that, right? So we find out that those were the most search volumes things. And when we did find out about it, we made a lot of blog posts around all of those weird health issues. And those became, as fast as we could think of it, the first page that was viewed on our website. So that data drove a lot of personalization of the website to make sure that we reach out to our clients and make cater to their needs, basically.
And when you think a bit about customer preferences and personalization, because we've heard a lot about that before lunch. And I don't know about you, but a lot of the organizations have very sophisticated tech stacks, which some people in the room may have access to and others may not. So, how have you been able to navigate both agency side and now with Mitsubishi, building out customer engagement, finding ways to identify customer preferences and personalization, both with and without ideal technology?
So at Mitsubishi, we are a small team. So we're a big bank worldwide, but in North America, our marketing team is really small. So we need to be resourceful. We need to find ways to have all of the data, all of what we need, and automate as much as possible. So we do a lot more than we can do with our small team, right? So we have implemented Salesforce Marketing Cloud for us. So we are a Salesforce organization. And Marketing Cloud, with all of the data that we have in our legacy system, CRM, and all of that, we are trying to use that and leverage that to cater to our numerous audience. We we do a lot of business third parties, so vendors and brokers and all of that. Those are our primary clients. And then we have the end user customers that are also our clients. And we have other types of, partnership here and there. So we have multiple audiences that we need to speak to. And our data, and this morning it was said, right, the data needs to be clean and perfect and all of that. For us, it's not the case. Our data is misorganized. It's a lot of duplicates. So we need to filter that out in order to use it, right? And so we're using robot process automation to filter out all of that data from our legacy systems and our data centers, and then once it's filtered out with that robot process, we can now use it in Marketing Cloud.
So I think Martin's example, and I appreciate your transparency around the state of your data, because, like many in the room, that's been more my experience than walking into a shop that's got things that are very clean. And now that I'm on the consulting side, I would say it's the same for many of my clients, where, there is a lot of data, but it exists in so many different parts of the organization, and it's difficult to harvest it and pull it together. And if you reflect on your work at Mitsubishi and even agency side, right? I know you have a big background agency side. Would you say that was finding ways to sift and sort through your data? Has that been a game changer for you as a marketer?
Yeah, it is. I mean, having clean data is the key for everything. And we're not even talking about AI, right? But when you don't have clean data, it's really hard to personalize anything. If I don't trust my data 100%, I'm not going to send an email saying, "Hey, Karen," and I don't know if it's really Karen, right? I prefer to step back and wait, right? So having that and having a way to have full trust in my data is essential. And so having that robot process to filter it out is an incredible tool. So I would suggest to look into that for sure.
Thank you. One thing that I'm impressed with that you've been able to do, because you've shared with us that although you work for a very large organization, your marketing team itself is quite small and nimble. And you've got very high expectations in terms of driving out business results. So lots of pressure on you and your team. And take us through the type of conversations and influence that you've had to develop within your organization so you can get the right level of investment, whether it's technology, marketing budget, support, and so on. Any tips that you could share with us around how you've made that happen?
Yeah, of course. So at first, it comes from having a good case study, right? And then once you have it, the first real journey we did with Marketing Cloud was to reach out to some of our vendors. We had a look-to-book of somewhere around 50% of when our vendor approved transaction, we get 50% out of it in contracts, right? So our business case was to say, well, if we were able to, with Marketing Cloud, up that to 1%, to 51%, it would mean a huge difference for our organization. So that's what we are committed to do, and that's where we got the buy-in. And we started the process, we did the journey, and then we personalized that email as much as we can with, of course, names, of course, those usual topics of personalization, right? But we went further ahead, and we thought, okay, what are those vendors really looking for? What is going to make them move? What is the action point, right? And so our lever for us was the commission that they'll get, right? So we said, well, if you have that number of deals that are approved in our systems, if you were to convert them into contract, here's the amount of commission you would get. Send us an email, call us, let's see what you got. And we upped our look-to-book, what we thought would be 1%, we increased it to 3%. So it was a great success. And then the adoption after that, it's easy.
Yes, yeah, I think the numbers and of course the success you had in terms of the budget, that really paves the way.
Yep.
And one thing that I heard you say, which I find very interesting, is that you were able to work with your partners to help you be successful and help you bring this case forward.
Yeah, for us, I mean, it's essential because, as you said and I said, I mean, we're a small team, and so we don't have the manpower to do all of this by ourselves. So implementations and most of everything that needs to do with building those tools for us to use afterwards, we need to have strong partnerships. And we do have a few agencies that we trust and we collaborate with on a daily basis on those types of issues. Either it's for Salesforce by itself, or Marketing Cloud, or even paid media and all of that. So for us, it's essential because we don't have the bandwidth to do everything that we know. In larger banks, you would have big teams with for social media, for everything. We're a small shop for us, so we need to have those external partners for sure.
So I think that's interesting. I don't know about the audience, but I don't often think about when I was working for some large organizations like a Canada Life and TD, wasn't always top of mind to reach out to partners as you have done to help you build the business case or help you even test something and bring that forward. So I think that is a really sharp and helpful way to go. Yep. Particularly as you say, nimble team, high expectations, and you were able to show a dramatic. I think you 3 times the results that you had initially expected. You were able to deliver 3 times that.
Yeah, and I mean, having those tools for us makes it easy for us to do a lot more than we would otherwise, right? Having those automations, having those processes being fully automated makes it for us. We are free to do anything else, right? It's almost set it up and forget it, right? Of course, you're going to the reports and making sure that everything is 100% working as you planned it, and you want to make sure that if there's tweaks and stuff to add to it, you're doing it on a regular basis. But having that freedom of let it run, and I'll look at like once every week, and so it's a time saver for sure.
It's incredible. What I'm hearing is you've automated with this technology, with making the case, securing the investment. You've also been able to automate a lot of your process.
Yeah, once we had the first that first case study done, then we could implement a few others. Right? We have a digital center in our place where they are responsible of ongoing calls on our anniversary calls, welcome calls, all of those things, and we automated all of the emails that goes along those way too, right? Instead of having them, having to call the client and then writing the email, the follow-up email, and all of this is all automated now, so it's easier, and that's all personalized with all of the data that we had during the call and all of that. So it's a lifesaver for me.
And you seem so happy as you're sharing this story,
yeah,
right? So we can all appreciate the benefits. One thing that I know you're very mindful of, and I think so is our audience today, is around cost, right? And how do we become more efficient, more effective? As one of the panelists, I think it was Siddharth from BMO, mentioned this morning, in his organization and in many, marketing budget's one of the first things to get cut, right? We understand that as marketers. So I know that you are continuing to push across your career on cost effectiveness, right? And really trying to be as efficient as possible. What tips or best practices would you be able to share?
Yeah, I mean, this is something that we have to be in Mitsubishi, as we are competing with larger organization on budget size and human resources size. So having the tools that will help you do a lot more. And having the team, like I have a paid media agency that is really good at trying to find the new tactics and new ways of doing paid media, right? As my budget is really small, and they're are able to still provide an amazing result and an amazing ROI on that small budget, right? But having the tools, like for us, it's Salesforce, it could be HubSpot for anybody else or other tools, but having those tools and really understanding them and really trying to make the best out of it will have a huge impact on that ROI at the end of the year, for sure.
I think that's very helpful, right? What I'm hearing is it comes back to choosing the right partner, finding someone who is really working with you, as opposed to a partner who is concerned about you trimming their budget. It's more that willingness to work with you to be able to get efficiency and potentially do more down the road.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we are, for our paid media agency, we are not a big client by any stretch of imagination. But still, having that relationship that I've built in the last few years, I feel like, hopefully it's true, I feel like they have my best interest in mind when it comes to strategizing and making sure that I get as much out of every dollar that I spend. Yeah.
Fantastic. One thing that we heard about this morning, it was the sheer volume of choices that we have in marketing technology, right? There are so many different companies. I made notes of lots that I had never heard of before, and of course, lots of familiar names as well. And I wonder if you can share with us, as you have built up this business at Mitsubishi, as you have made the case to invest in digital marketing, how have you been able to navigate a very busy horizon of different marketing technologies? How do you make the right choice that will endure in your business?
Sorry. So there was a bit of there was a lot of discussion around which MarTech we would use. But the main thing that had a big impact on which one we selected was that we already have Salesforce as a CRM. So having that already there, it was kind of a easy picking to say, well, okay, let's do Salesforce all the way through, right? As it's easier to implement, easier to connect. Well, at least we thought it would be. So it's never the case, but yeah, so having that unified Salesforce environment for us was kind of a easy way to go through. But then when it comes to optimizing your time and schedule and all of that, we are starting to look at all of the AI tool that it's currently offering services for marketing. Now that's a lot. So we are trying to pick the right one, which is, I'm sure you guys have all been there. It's a lot to look at. There's hundreds of them, and we're right now in the process of selecting those that will help us be more resourceful in the long run. So, but it's a painful process into which you need to go through. Yeah.
Yes. It sounds to me as well that what you're bringing into that conversation is the strategy, where you've been able to deliver 3 times your expectations, so results matter, and you've been skillful in finding partners who are going to work with you, right, over the long term, so that probably influences what you're selecting and who's on that list.
It does, for sure, and I mean, it's always the same thing, is what is the problem that you're trying to solve? So for us, we're a small team. We want to be more efficient. We want to do more with the same number of people. So it's always trying to find that special tool that will provide that to us.
Very helpful. One thing that I reflect on often, both running my own business and then when I worked for larger companies, is the role of senior leadership and I'm impressed with how you've been able to influence and navigate your C-suite to get them to invest. And what I have heard is that you started smaller, you used data, you started to prove out a business case.
Yep.
And has that been your go-to approach, over the years, or have you adapted that?
There's been adaptation, but I have had help also with my team and my colleagues into all of that. But so in at least for us, marketing is not the most important department in the company. So having to have those discussion into, okay, I need that amount of money is hard discussion. So you need to have facts and points into why you want to have those kind of amount. So it's what is good also for us. It's since we're not like the biggest of banks, C-suites are not as I don't know how to say that, but I can talk to them. Like
more accessible.
They're accessible.
Yes.
They're easy to talk to. So it's might be easier to have those kinds of conversation with them as long as you have facts and data that backs you up, for sure.
Yeah, I think that's very helpful, and that's probably something that many people in the audience today, you're relying on numbers to tell a great story, right? And of course, once you have some experience under your belt, you can now say, I delivered 3 times what my objective was. Then all of a sudden people are leaning into what you have to say, I think.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and I mean, one of the thing that we use as well, right, is all of the data that is available to us. Like either it's from Google Analytics, it's from our CRM, either it comes from our sales team or our customer service. We use all of that data to either personalize our message or back what we're saying in a case study when we have to ask for new tools or new things like that. So that's how we do it.
So as you reflect on, we've done a bit of a look back in terms of your journey, both agency side and then at Mitsubishi.
Yep.
As you're looking ahead, what would be 1 or 2 things that you're really very focused on, or key problems that you're trying to solve?
So we are always trying to automate as much marketing process as we can. So we're trying to find out where is the big gain that we can do again, right? So that first one with the vendors, that was kind of an easy one because we had that problem with the look to book, right? Now we're doing the digital center to make sure that these agents don't have to spend a lot of time on email writings. And then once we're done with that, we're going to do a lot more into trying to improve again our look to book and all of that, but on the customer side. So we're going to try and do a lot more of lead generation and direct business with them, with automation and personalization, trying to convert on deals that are ongoing. So if we are looking at so let's say we are doing transportation financing for a truck. Let's say we're doing this, and we know that in the time frame of 4 to 5 years, they're going to change their trucks. So knowing that, we know when to come in with marketing messaging to go directly to them and say, "Oh, we know that you're around the time where you should change trucks. What do you say? We have this big, great partner with us that has a truck available right now. What do you say we do a deal together," right? Those kinds of things, that's where we're going further next. And then, of course, all of AI, which is coming as well to add to the personalization also for the website, making sure that we are personalizing the experience on our website as much as we can with what the data that we have and what AI can provide as well.
Very helpful. You've given us some great insights in terms of your journey. I think you've been incredibly transparent with the challenges because, it's easy to say, look how successful we are without understanding what's gone into it, right? The time and the sheer effort and the will to make such a big difference. So I appreciate the practical approach that you've taken in our conversation. And I'd like to take a minute and open it up for any questions. So keep in mind, if I think of Mitsubishi as a bit of a case study, right? Smaller team, small budget, had to build from within, had to make the case for marketing. It's not, I appreciate what you said, that marketing is not the number one priority in the organization. I've worked for many companies that would say the same. So are there any questions? Anyone who's looking for some insights from Martin? Yes. Oh, I think Thanya's coming with a mic. Thank you, Thanya.
Thank you so much for your insight so far. I work for a relatively small company. We also have a relatively small team as a result of that. And a lot of our clients don't interact directly with the brand, but interact with their account manager. Mm-hmm. And like you, we have an issue with data cleanliness because the clients are dealing with these representatives who then don't necessarily update the CRM. Like, oh, this person is now interested in this or that or the other thing. So how do you then get everybody to work together on the same team and have that data be clean, but also work together? So like some messages will come directly from their client relationship person and some messages will come directly from the house, and how to make that work together.
That's a great question, because we had that same issue, especially with our sales team that, and there's no easy way to do it. What we did is basically we had a big meeting with the sales VPs to make sure that, well, I don't know if the account manager are going to be the same, but for us, it's a lot of commission-based, and their commission had to be dependent on the CRM being clean. So that helped a lot. Don't know if that's going to be a thing that you can do with your organization, but that really helped a lot for us.
Yeah, I think that's very helpful, right? Tying people's personal interest, compensation, right, to drive the result that you want, I think is a fantastic idea. Yeah. As you say, Martin, where you can do it and where it makes sense. Do we have any other questions from the floor? Okay, well, I'm sure that Martin is around to answer questions if you want to come up to him one-on-one, or certainly find him on LinkedIn. I really appreciate his candor in sharing his journey with us. So it's been an absolute delight. Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.